that.
No, that's certainly true.
All right.
You can pretend to be noble for a day if you want to.
I'm not pretending.
We'll write the letter. And deliver it, I guess.
Right.
The letter will loosely say something like that Tempus Malleator appears to have been in the city and has recently come into an unfortunate situation, making him unable to go and do as he sees fit. It has come to the attention of this mercenary, who will probably give a name. How well known are you by your name?
A few might know me, but rather the let's see, what was the name?
Just give a name.
The Frost Range Companions. The leader of the Frost Range Companions.
Okay. And this character has come into the knowledge that there's someone here who would pay dearly for him. It is known that he is very eager to flee a lot. But it's nothing that this Frost Eater cannot handle. You would like to sell him to a local offerer out of the good of his heart. And he's sure that the price paid here will be ample enough for him to continue on with his travels without letting this be more than a slight profitable bump in the road. He is a busy man, and to suggest or to talk about a suitable price for this, he will bring Tempus to this manor house tomorrow night for price discussion, and of course, as proof. Here is a piece extracted from the captive, rather painfully as it was. He had many interesting things to tell when he was praised.
Also phone.
Tempus is clearly malfunctioning from having that piece removed.
Bleep.
That's the only way he can talk now.
So, should we have the meeting be at his house, or should we actually have it be at some other place? I mean, is Geráck gonna enter there alone with Tempus, or?
I mean, I would just say at a place of your choosing, because if you say at your super secret boat hole that I know to be in the heights, that would be a bit suspicious.
You already sent the letter here, right?
That's suspicious enough.
So, obviously I know that he lives there anyway, but...
Just that the Tempus had many interesting things to tell, including the location of this place.
Yeah.
Where you could apparently be found.
Yeah, but it's probably better
he would very much like to avoid.
Yeah, it's probably better to pick another place for sort of discussing the price, and then I will give him Tempus after that. If his price is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe at the tavern or something?
Well, you'd want it to be a non-public place so you could bring a prisoner, right? Back room in the Fox and the Hound.
Or I could sort of take a room at an inn and say, come to this room and ask for this name, and yeah.
Sure. And we could be at a room next to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tempus could be in a huge box under the bed, or something like that. Just laying there gagged and bound, completely, utterly helpless.
Yes.
Good thing you learned to trust us, Tempus.
Or, you know, it's one of those situations where perhaps if I had to go to bed, I'm a box.
That's true. Just with belts strapped all around it.
It's a lock and chain, a padlock as well, just like all over it.
So are we still discussing these things, like standing on the street in the heights?
I mean, this is more metagame, sort of drawn out thing that our characters would talk about at sort of a later point.
At a later point, like when your characters need to
Oh,
decide
when
what
they
to do?
decide to leave because there's nothing really, because apparently we have no idea how to get in there.
Okay.
I mean, it's quite a walk back.
It is. Okay. So you walk back to the Arcane Sanctuary then. Not the Arcane College.
Well, does anyone have any idea how else we would approach this?
Well, just ever so slightly motivated by a Grimace random rolling in chat, are we being followed?
Are you being followed?
Yeah.
Just
You
like
should-
tons of people hearing?
You should check.
I should check.
Make a check to notice whether you're being followed.
Alright. Would my Black Fang background apply for this?
I guess since you're like a trained assassin, that makes sense.
Knowing if you're being followed or not is probably a good skill. Secret or public?
No, you can make it out in the open.
Right. That didn't work. No, we're not being followed. Trust me.
You look fine.
All right.
About as well as you are any other time you travel in the city, which you are new to. Streets are less busy in the Heights District, as there are certainly far fewer people. You know, you have to be approved in order to come into the Heights District. You've been pre-approved, so good on you for that.
Yeah.
Somehow they approved Tempus. I mean, I still don't understand that.
Like, considering how the maybe like 45, 50 minutes to walk back to the Arcane College. I just want to know where you guys were.
Mm-hmm. It was a very feeble attempt to get in.
We want to get in? No. Oh.
Well, I guess we'll come back some other day.
I think they had too many hit points for Chambers.
Gryph would have needed to roll far better than his total result of 19.
Yeah.
Now, seeing as I had a
Good
plus
try still.
13 on that, that's a pretty low roll.
Good,
It was going to be a ridiculously hard check. That was a DC 30 to attempt to sell them on you just being like, hey, here for the meeting.
It was a try. It was just one of those ones like.
It was definitely a try in the hope that you would roll highly. I agree.
That hope was dashed. You know, basically a 17 out of 20 chance of failure.
So are we going with this plan then?
I think it's a good one.
Alright. So, first of all, we need to find an inn for me too, Soda. Or for
That
all of us to take a
shouldn't
room.
be impossible.
I was
No.
going to say now, reason
But we
I
need to
offered-
do that.
The reason I offered about being in a box is because it is getting quite late and I do get up very early, so I mean it's an option for you to roleplay with me using a very, very vulnerable state.
I mean, you shouldn't offer to leave the session just to give us a mechanical advantage.
Yes, mechanical advantage. That's what I'd call that.
I don't know if it would count one. I think it.
A
having-
potential advantage.
I mean, I think the reverse, the alternative is making him fakely rolled up. I mean, fakely like tied up. It looks like he's tied up in all ways, so he could just break out. It's not too difficult.
Yeah, not going very late tonight might also be in my interest, as I was up very early, and I can begin to feel it taking its toll on me. But yeah, I think the plan could work. As good as anything else we've got, at least. So
Yeah. Really depends if we were followed or not.
I mean, we don't think
if we were, that's great. I mean, if they come to us, that's the easiest way.
Is it? We found Tempus. He was with a group of people.
Yeah. Let's attack him.
Alright.
I'll go myself.
So, are you going to have our dwarf paladin here approach this place again on his lonesome, like the same day?
I think if the others would
I
follow
imagine
me,
we
but
would,
not.
we would go with him, but not be by him when he does the thing.
We'll
Just
make
close
Harsca,
by to,
yeah.
so you hear if I get attacked or.
Alright, so a roll to not be noticed skill check from everyone who doesn't want to be noticed in the, you know, the
Secret?
well lit. No, you can make it out in the open.
Okay.
So,
Dexterity based.
Okay. Okay.
It's a good thing I'm not trying to be noticed.
I'm trying to think what background for me.
You know, just in an urban noble environment where you guys totally look like you fit in.
Well, let's see how good Aurelia is at not being
I'm
noticed.
a wizard. Nobody notices me.
Could be better.
I don't think Scholar of the Forge will suit me for being disguised.
No.
Nor the Survivor of the Dwarven games. I mean, Trickster's more for bluffing. I guess maybe it's disguised.
Yeah, Survivor of the Dwarf. In order to survive the Dwarven games, I needed to disguise myself as someone who belonged in a noble environment.
They're very brutal. There's a manhunt out in this man.
I'm
Sends
considering
you out
this.
there.
The
You gotta
DC,
hide.
by the way, is 20. Yeah, that is normal for a champion tier.
So if someone's looking, then they will notice me.
I'm looking at Survivor Scout. It's like that's normally my stealth one, but this is not really stealth as much disguise.
Well, would Trickster work, or would you say no, Grim?
No, I don't think so.
Nah, go. I was thinking like no. I just wanted to make sure. Just put on my noble clothes as well that I probably stashed away. They're probably a wee bit stuffy, but you know.
Yeah, I don't think I really have a background for disguise against nobility.
Blending in this urban setting in the Heights district, where you most assuredly do stick out. Thankfully, the place is such a large city that it's only a DC 20, which is normal for a champion tier.
Well, you know, no.
Alright.
Better than draw heroes.
Alright, so...
I'm glad I used that roll for that. You would have come up later.
It's a natural roll of 2, eh? I regret you not having the acrobats check. Alright. Goger, as your character begins the approach, you notice that it is more than just the 2 dwarves. With the skill check I made for you, it seems as if there is a patrol of not just a dwarf, but Newport's finest, who do have masterwork weapons, for they are in the Heights district, and who are making sure they're not doing it too conspicuously, but they are going around the block where this house is.
Alright.
You noticed this before you, get on your approach, so no one's spotted, no one's, paid attention to you overly much. You're certainly seen.
Alright. I think Geráck would approach normally anyway. Just walking up to the door.
Alright, as soon as you do, there's a sign, and then... No trespassers, this is private property, leave or we'll call the guards.
As Geráck sort of reaches out this token he was given from Tempus and the note attached to it. Just give this to your master.
No trespassers, this is private property, leave or we'll
Yes, you
call
said
the guards.
that. Give this to your master.
We don't take orders from you.
Do you know who this belongs to?
Perhaps your helmet is making you deaf.
Does Tempus Malleator mean anything to you?
Yes, we saw him earlier.
You did.
Yes. He tried to get into the house. Now you have a pleasant day.
Well, I saw him earlier too.
Guards! And from down the road, those folks that you saw patrolling past have turned themselves and they're rushing for the house. Clink, 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 clink. They're heading for the house, the front door.
Well, fine, I'll leave then. And he sort of
No, you're not allowed to leave now. Trespasser. And known consort of a criminal. I think the guards of Newport would be very interested in you.
I'm not consorting with Tempest. I've captured him, goddammit.
No, you didn't, considering he was already here. Please. And the guards, with their weapons drawn, do approach. Warily. One of the mercenaries, I know trained, looks over and says, "This man has willingly encroached on noble territory, trespassed in lawful violation of the rules of Newport, as governed by the most generous imperial governor." And the guards ask, or rather tell you bluntly, you're gonna have to come with us.
So, what should I do here, guys? I
mean, you can't really run, so...
We'll intercept them or something.
I mean...
We'll send you a care packet to prison.
I mean, should I just go with them, or...
You're not gonna kill them all, are you?
I mean, at least this as a crime is far lower than murdering guards.
Yeah.
Right? Like, trespassing, you can maybe get off with a fine, at least.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go with them then.
Alright.
I mean, maybe the night in jail. That's sort of like minor to misdemeanor kind of thing.
The guards will actually escort you to the southern gatehouse, which leads between the let me look at the districts here, between the Haven and the Heights. Whereas it turns out there is a fully fitted jail there, where Geráck is deposited into after he is politely requested to give up his weapons and armor. They'll be returned to him after the duration of his stay, whenever a proper judge can review the crime that he has been charged with.
I mean, fine. Just doesn't really have a choice.
Okay. Geráck Zold is imprisoned for the crime of trespassing. And perhaps consorting with Tempus Malleator as well.
Trespassing.
Or what kind of familiarity do you have with Newport laws?
Not a whole lot, but if we ask, like, a guard somewhere...
well, the guard would tell you that nominally it might be like a day or maybe a small fine, but realistically, it kind of depends on whose territory you trespass onto. If it's like someone's house in the Haven, it doesn't really matter. If it's someone's house in the Heights, you might stay in jail for a few days. Longer than one. Depends on the noble you upset.
Oh.
I couldn't just pay a fine.
What?
As it turns out, the guards who have put you in your cell are no more yielding than the the guards who put you, who called for the guards. As it turns out, the Heights treats its security very seriously.
Apparently so, yeah.
Yeah, we work for the city and still we gotta deal with this bullshit.
Do you think Lord Trappist tells me to of the guards? Like, do up a 6? Like, can you like?
Not at the moment. I wouldn't drop on that.
I mean, if you want to tell like Lord Tarathis, like it's the same day. Like you'd have to like go and like tell him. Which we would roleplay the consumption of the 6.
Oh god.
We got him arrested.
Burn his house down.
I cannot use. I'm not using a 6 to burn down his house.
I wouldn't allow you to use the 6 to burn down the house. That's not a valid application.
Like, also, even trying that, I think that would turn into a 5 of complication, you're being chased by guards.
I mean, if you all want to go into prison for attempting to burn down the entire city, then I suppose we can go that angle, too. I didn't think we would go for the escape from prison route.
You know, I was thinking, like, just, like, you know, speeding up this process of, like, getting him out of the prison cell.
I mean, yeah,
Sure, but what do we do then? I mean,
it's a valid consumption. Like, you can use the 6, but I'm gonna make you roleplay this conversation with Lord Taraptis.
I'm trying to find if does the bot have any other ideas, or just like
with the Archmage's infrastructure here being entirely gutted, pretty much the only one who has any sway to get him out of jail, like tonight, is Lord Taraptis. For your Archmage relationship die.
we don't really have any way of approaching this guy. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
legally, because apparently he's fucking paid everybody off. Can't we just figure out who's paid off and then go and make a visit to them?
let's just assume for a moment that the entirety of the Black Fang is currently located in that building. It wouldn't change
Then
anything
we burn it
because
down.
we are
Then
unwilling
it's
to
worth
do
it.
anything. Oh, this is just terrible. Ugh. I mean, say what you will about Dragonhall, but at least you could just kill people.
That's what I said when we went there. I was like, guys, you don't understand. The reason I didn't want to do the Newport Hunt is we have to deal with this fucking bureaucracy.
There is, if you remember, there is a lovely cove of the Gryph.
But if we let them play by these corrupted rules, like, they have paid somebody off. Let somebody have something more valuable to them than money, and that is their life.
You could certainly take that pursuit, or it could just be a natural extent of, hey, Tempus Malleator approached the door. Let's see if we can get some of Newport's finest to maybe watch over the building for us.
I mean, they know Tempus Malleator works for the government, right?
And we were under protection.
That doesn't really extend that well to Tempus Malleator, considering his dark and shady past. Really, Thomas was the icon of, like, everything. Like, it's already harder for you guys to get into the Heights, because Thomas, he was the beacon.
I just need to be more powerful so they don't dare defy me.
That's
I need a bigger
works.
bounty so it balances it out.
No, they proved they definitely metagame wise, since none of you other characters would know that. They know who Tempus Malleator is. It's another reason why the check with DC 30.
So have Tempest go and knock on everybody's doors, and the guys will be very spread out.
Hi, I'm Tempus. Bye.
Can I come in? And they're like, no. And you're like, oh well.
Bye.
And then they just see me in the
There's
next
a
door
hard
neighbor.
criminal everywhere
Dun,
in
dun,
the city. It's almost like he's walking around free without the guards stopping him at the gate. Well.
Things I did not think would happen.
Only we have the legal protection that these people have.
It's private property. Fucking trespassing. Now you were
Just standing there.
But yes,
No,
on
we're-
private property.
I don't believe in private property.
Oh my
Well,
god.
as it
No
turns out,
socializing.
most
There
people
was
in the
no
world,
fence.
most people in the world aren't trespassers or adventurers.
Geráck doesn't believe in private property.
He believes it's the
No,
dwarf priority, isn't it?
he
You're a
kinda
dwarf,
does.
take supporter.
He kind of used to being a noble and
As it turns out, the
really being
imperial
told to not go anywhere.
the imperial governor
we
does.
don't have anyone who knows how guard functions work. You don't know how to do this.
If
Bureaucracy.
Both
these two
Thomas and John
omniscient and
Aratus are
incorruptible dwarves really are making this as much of a dead end as we're currently assuming, we could just break into the fucking shop and hope for something.
But
At least that's something we can do without running into, well, no.
But if the guards will be there within a
Oh.
minute, then no.
You know, we just need to roll a 20 on the skill check and we're done. Right?
Wasn't
We
it
all
stealth?
need
We
to
draw
roll
5 of
20
them.
on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Unless you want to go in alone.
I mean, yes and no. It would probably make it easier to stay undetected, but that's never a good idea.
No, it is not.
Don't split the party. Isn't that what Goger just did there? You fuckers talked him into it.
But it's impossible to do stealth without splitting the party because we're 5 people and someone will roll shitty.
I don't think me, just to be ironic.
Disguising or whatnot.
This is terrible. So, am I gonna stay in jail for a while, or are you gonna get me out?
I mean, we'd love to get you out. I'm sure we can talk to some people. Like, he actually works for the government, so...
You would have to use an icon.
These things?
You would have to use an icon relationship die to get him out in a timely fashion for you guys. Like that's kind of what the icon relationship dice are for in this instance.
Yeah.
I'll try this thing so fast.
Like I said, like you can use the 6 and just you gotta have to fucking talk to him.
How many days was he gonna sit in there?
At least 1.
It's until they get a judge to review the case.
Yeah, until they get someone there who can review the case for him. But you know how the justice system is. People fall through the cracks all the time.
You know, they might delay it like 5 days.
As they properly review what his connection towards Tempus Malleator is.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, there's people in
like,
there's a number of witnesses in the guild district who saw the 2 of them together.
I mean, everyone has seen us together, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a secret. Like we're walking around.
He's a newcomer.
Street.
Yeah. So clearly there's an affiliation with Tempus Malleator. So
we're famed for being affiliated with him.
And Tempus Malleator is certainly ostensibly one of the good guys, but in this particular instance...
Well, I guess the 4 win because of these 2 incorruptible dwarfs and Newport's card.
Incorruptible?
That's
what
true,
the fuck was it? You didn't try to corrupt them, you said, hey, let me come in, there's a meeting, and then
I'm just pointing out the potentially wrong assumptions we are making here.
You know, I was kind of just being a noble dick to them and just saying, do what I say, or...
Why?
So you're saying we should kill them all? And deal with the consequences later.
That's not what I said at all.
All the guards that die, they were corrupted. We have found these documents that prove it. Like my handwriting.
And that's to like give us your master. That's what you want to do. You know that the guy that you may supposedly, like, theoretically be protecting is supposed to have a secret bolt hole. Then Tempus Malleator walks up, the guy you know your master you may hypothetically be protecting in there, if he's in there, once more than anyone else. And he's like, hey, I have a meeting, can I come in? So obviously you panic fucking bit, and like, maybe we should send one of our other guys to like go get some help. And then another guy comes up, and like, hey, I know where Tempus Malleator is, give this note to your masters, do what I say, motherfucker.
I mean, we could be like super passive-aggressive and just siege the guy.
Siege?
Sit out in front of his fucking house, and we just, like, right outside their property, we just sit there and look at
public property, so they can't do anything about it.
Training our fireballs and magic shit everywhere, and they're doing an ostensibly display of power
in the Heights district, where all the
getting more and more angry and more pissed at that he's not opening his door. They count downing until we blow the whole fucking thing up and don't care anymore. Because he will know that we have been to Dragon Hall, and we have learned that if we ever let someone stop us with this kind of means, then we would have failed already. So the only thing he's doing is delaying us, making us more and more angry, and more susceptible to violence.
But he might also have like secret tunnels and stuff, and not care about us.
He probably does, yes. But will that save him when we get wrathful enough? We're PC sheep. We have a tendency to when we dislike someone thoroughly enough, we will find him no matter where he goes.
We search outside the walls near his house and try to find the secret entrance.
I mean, we can't just rummage through the heights, just look into bushes and stuff.
No, outside the walls.
You walk outside the city of Newport, like the guards, like look down, like at a computer.
Hello. We are picking mushrooms. Don't worry.
Fucking players.
Yes.
I mean, surely if that 6 with the Archmage could get one of us out of prison, surely we could use it to get out of prison after we've assaulted this fucking building, right?
It depends how much damage it causes, because this is only trespassing.
Any of the nobles we have stuff on. Any of those a judge?
Well, you could use your 5, your conflicted 5s with any of the other icons to get him out of jail tonight. The same you could with the Archmage 6. If you really want to avoid talking to Lord Terraptus that bad.
I think I'd rather use the 6, actually.
I'm not going to talk to him.
Like Tempus could use his Archmage 5 too to convince Lord Terraptus to get out of jail.
I have my 6. I don't know what you have, Manaki. Tempus goes, fuck.
Manaki already used his.
I have nothing.